Put up 2 fingers if you're ready, or just one in the middle. Here we go. It's that time. Let's hit it. Good morning. How y'all doing? It's oh, let me turn that down. It's Monday. It's Metal Monday. It's my first day back to work. Gunfox is dropping bombs in the Gunfox is dropping bombs in the tip jar. Speaking of which, you are Gunfox.
You are
the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping 3 Hamiltons, dropping 3 stories. Drop it like it's hot. Anyway, it's Metal Monday, obviously. Oh, what the hell's this? Oh, God. Here we go. So anyway, I had a great weekend. Lady Boomer and I went to 3 movies over the weekend, which was cool. I haven't been to a movie in a movie theater in a while. And then we went to visit we went to drop some stuff off at my daughter's house because we were going to do our little vacation thing where we just drive around and go to random towns and find cool things. And we decided to do that. Can you even hear me? Is this working? Yeah, it is. Okay. We decided to do that in the town that my daughter moved to, since she and her husband bought a house in this town, and we decided to hang out there and found a couple cool things to go see. So we'll do that and lots of news. Basically, we have another war going on, and this one has as many. Well, there's a lot of problems with this one, just like there is with all of them. But this one's going to get messy, and I think there's a whole faction that may turn this into another proxy. There's a couple factions, and it's looking like we're on the brink, and I hope we're not, but we'll see. But before that, we should probably play the intro and say hi to everybody, right? So, Johnny, would you do me the honors? Turn that music off and play the intro. Thank you, Gunfox, one more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
All right, let's get this thing started. Stop the music. Good morning to all of you out there in Inner Tubes land. This is the Morning Night Live, and I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel for this enchanting day of, well, it's war. There's a war going on, another one. And I'd love to call it a conflict, but now this is going to turn into straight up war. There's lots of shit going on. And I don't like the direction this is going in. And I always wonder, every time, the more this stuff happens, the more you think about how much is this being caused by the feckless leadership of the string holders who are managing the current resident in chief. And I mean, I can't say we can blame it all on that, but it certainly looks like it. So anyway, let's we got a whole bunch of stuff to go through, and a lot of it I'm just gonna put the articles and the links. As you know, I put links to everything we do on the show in a single link at the end of the show with on a one tab. It's called a one tab link. It'll be in the description. I'll put it in the chat. It'll be in the Discord. It'll be everywhere that you see this show. And you'll be able to navigate through it because you just click one link and everything will be on one page. So it's going to be all there. I'm not going to get through all of this today by any chance, seeing as I got about 50 tabs open. But I really want to give some recognition immediately. Gunfox61 dropping 4 Hamiltons in the tip jar. And again, you are
the new
Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Gunfox. Man, but with several, and dropping an article with each one of them. So I appreciate that. I will go through all those. Also, now, as you know, if you came back over here from Rumble, my brain apparently didn't set up the stream keys right. What happened? I had a little glitch when I was setting up Rumble this morning, and it popped me out 2 stream keys for whatever reason, and I didn't know which one to use. So I used one, and clearly I used the wrong one. So over there, though, IRRECONCILABLE was there first, so you still get a bell. And then Mike Savage, Blarg, Jimmy Das Hotep, and that's everybody over there that's still over there. Let's say there's 9 people watching. I'm one of the 9, but I don't. If you're over, well, you can't hear me if you're on Rumble. I put the link to YouTube in Rumble, so they should be coming over here. Damn, Gunfox, you're man. You're keeping me single-handedly keeping me alive. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for dropping another Hamilton. What is this? Oh no. Well, there's got another one. Well, I'll drop that in the breaking news then. That seems more appropriate. Because there's another strike. So we'll put that in the beginning stuff here. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody. Let me knock all these off so I don't forget. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gunfox, superstar. Superstar. Thank you, sir. Does that say, oh no, wait a minute, hang on, let me update. There we go. I don't think anyone's going to catch Gunfox today, but hey, here's if you feel like challenging Gunfox for the Superstar Donor of the Day, please knock yourself out. The medical bills are starting to come in. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody on YouTube. Also, first in chat, IRRECONCILABLE gets the bell. Thank you, sir, for being here. Good morning also to Renee Mayette, Black Hebrew Israelite. Those are 2 different people, right. Obviously. Good morning also, Kara Soldier. What's up? Balin Bobby's in the house. Welcome back. Good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep. Like and share the stream, y'all. Exactly. It is Metal Monday. Put 2 fingers up, please. Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Gunfox61, the Superstar Donor of the Day so far, and the administrator of the Discord server for the P-Dog Night channel. Awesome job done there. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. Good morning, Aaron Meredith, and Attack Alpaca. Good morning, Rick Ashbringer. Good morning, too. I'm running out of, I'm scrolling. Unacceptable views in the house. Brandon Narlow. Aren't you the lead singer of Gnarls Barkley? Or something like that. I'm just kidding. Good morning also to Bookworm Addict. What up? Good morning to, there's a lot of people down here. Let's go all the way down here. Y'all been chatting up a storm. I'm trying to find it. Let's go. Higgs in the house from the home base in the panhandle of Florida. C. Thomas, penis, is in the house. Good morning, sir. Also, that looks like everybody. So if you haven't chimed in yet, please feel free to do so. Looks like we got 23 people so far, 11 likes. Hit the like button, share the stream. Number one and most important thing you can do for this show is to share the stream. That's very important because I need people to join the show. That helps every day. All right. So let's get into just kind of the Darren Root. What's up? See, Darren Root jumps in. I say hi right away as soon as I can. If you haven't said hi yet, say hi. All right. As you figured out, I should probably fix that on. I'm going to move this to YouTube over on. I got to change the link over on locals, although maybe I should just leave it. I put a link there. Let's fix the locals link because it's no longer on Rumble. It is on YouTube, and we'll change that link for anyone who happened to see that. There we go. I feel bad because it was actually on. It was on Rumble. It's supposed to be on Rumble. I mean, what are you gonna do? All right. Anyway, on a couple thank yous in the. I'm gonna check my notifications here. Thank you everyone who has already, tweeted out the show. Looks like I've got Somnambule Nation, of course, retweet there. We got Jimmy Das Hotep, of course, retweet there. Also we got Scribe Light. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Reposted Scribe Light. Thanks to Jimmy Das Hotep again. That is the YouTube link. You did it twice. Oh, I see. You did one for Rumble too. Thank you also to Zach Osborne and Tyler F for retweeting my tweet of the show. Every little bit helps. Honestly, we should stay out of it. Out of the Middle East. Yeah, I'm visiting Florida Caverns, not far from home. I don't even know where that is. I might have to check that out. Well, here's the thing. Okay. I have been to 44 of these lovely United States of America. And unbelievably, unlike most people on the planet, I've never been to Florida. So we're going to fix that sometime in January. We're going to go down to Miami and kind of daycation among the Keys just for the hell of it one day. Rent a car and just go down that key highway thing that goes over water. But so that should be fun. Anyway, never been there. So, all right, I'm a little discombobulated already. I actually went back. Oh yeah, I forgot. And I went back to work today for the first time I've been out of work for 8 weeks. 2 weeks because of vacation that I took before I had my surgery. And the hip's doing pretty good. Did a lot of walking yesterday. I took a walking stick with me though yesterday, just to be safe, because it's like, I haven't walked that much. We went up to my daughter's, the town my daughter moved to, which is about 50 miles north of the Twin Cities. And we just went up there because we had to drop off a table and stuff because they bought a new house. We have a bunch of extra furniture and stuff that we had for them. And we went to this little corner restaurant that they had. It's an old bank. It was a bank that was built in the late 1800s. And I guess it functioned there as a bank for many years. And they turned it into a restaurant. And they have two giant safes, right? Like there's a bar counter and there's two giant safes there they use for an office. And then they put a kitchen in. And man, it was just like one of these really great little restaurants you go for breakfast. And I had, usually I'm very wary of ordering anything like biscuits and gravy, but they had this thing on there called the country Benedict, which basically was instead of the pretty little Canadian bacon circle and hollandaise, it had sausage and country gravy over it, and it was delicious. It was unbelievable. And then my wife had she just had like a Denver omelet, but it was just a beautiful Denver omelet. They ground their own coffee and served. And their coffee was awesome. They have like homemade jams that they make there, and then they sell them, but they also put them out on the tables. They had their own syrups. They made everything there. They have one of the owners has a farm of maple trees, so they have their own maple syrup, like pure maple syrup. And they even made their own hot sauce. Like they had this hot sauce. I put some of the hot sauce on my hash browns, and it was amazing. So it was just a great little restaurant, and it was pretty cheap too. Like we got out of there we both had a breakfast. We both had coffee, and then we bought like three of the homemade jellies that they sell. They sell the jelly or jams, whatever, homemade jams. They sell the hot sauce. We bought like 3 bottles of hot sauce. We got out of there for like $40. Well, plus tip. It was great in this just small town. And then we asked the gal there, hey, what would you go see in this town? They're like, there's nothing to see in this town. We're like, well, no, there's got to be something. And then she said, well, there's a park up here that has like a little river walk and whatever. And there's a sculpture garden down this way and that way. So we went to this park that has the river walk, and it was beautiful. It was like this little beautiful county park that goes along this little river and has little benches to sit in places, and it had a nice little cool little bridge over it. So if you want to, I'll show you some of that stuff on my other channel, Marty's Big Journey. I'll drop a couple, just some highlight videos from those, and I'll put it in my stories if you follow me on Instagram, which is all in the links, the link tree links that show up in the chat. Is my chat bot? Yeah, the chat bot's working. So if you see the link tree, you can follow me a bunch of different places on there. Any place that I do stuff is on the link tree, so you can check me out there. All right. Should I get into the news finally? Because I've been babbling, and I'm in limited time today because I'm on a schedule again. I have to go to work and worked here, and then I go work again at 11, so I got to be out of here by 10:30. So anyway, up north, still in the Panhandle, it's cold this AM. Yeah, it's cold here too. It's like 41 degrees here this morning. I mean, that's like it was last week, it was 90, and now it's 40 degrees, but it'll warm up. And we also picked up a piece of furniture on Craigslist that someone was giving away this dresser for free. And this old antique dresser is really cool. I'm going to refinish it. Okay, enough about that. So anyway, one worked in a mansion that has safe room in the basement. It also had a tunnel to the garage for running whiskey. It was built in the 20s. You know, it's funny. I did a loan for someone who has he has a house back when I was back in doing mortgages. This guy had a house that was built for one of the so if you're not familiar with St. Paul, Minnesota, or this area of the country, a lot of the gangsters from Chicago would have summer homes. They had summer homes up in the lakes in northern Minnesota. They'd had a summer home in St. Paul, or they'd have homes in St. Paul where they could, they just need to get away and chill. But they build these houses like fortresses. They put like the one house that we had I think 8-inch thick doors, solid wood, but 8 inches thick, so they couldn't shoot bullets through them. And they had a little speakeasy down in their basement that had the secret passageway and like that. So it's kind of cool, some of the houses you see up here. All right, I've talked enough about it. Let's get into the show. Things that are trending today real quick, like news things trending. It's Columbus Day, and it's unfortunate that we can't just celebrate some great thing that something accomplished, even though it wasn't what he expected. A lot. So people are celebrating Columbus Day. Now, I have to tell you, this is great. This is funny because, one of my favorite Twitter accounts is the 3-Year Letterman. Okay, 3-Year Letterman is kind of an Al Bundy-esque figure, right? It's a parody account that does funny shit, and it's funny, and it's just is, okay? And the 3-Year Letterman is celebrating Columbus Day like this. Oh no, I went one too far. There we go. So let me give you a little history on Columbus Day from the 3-Year Letterman. On this very day in 1492, a British explorer by the name of Christopher Columbus set sail in his beloved ship, the Mayflower, in search of a better life. When he crossed the Pacific and landed on Plymouth Rock, what he discovered exceeded his wildest imaginations. It was the United States of America, the land of opportunity, and the oldest and greatest country on earth. Once he saw the stars and stripes, he never set foot in England again. Thank you, Lord Columbus, for literally discovering us. Now that's some funny stuff. That's some funny parody. Okay, it's because he's supposed to be this dumb coach guy who doesn't know anything. It's a funny parody count. But anyway, now if you're not familiar with Lou Perez does have he does have an explainer on why it is Columbus Day and not Indigenous Peoples Day, because Indigenous Peoples Day is trending too. Because see, a lot of people think that it's important to shit on other holidays by changing it to something else and calling it Indigenous Peoples Days. And I always say, people are like, well, why do we have Confederate statues? The Confederates lost. Well, why would we have Indigenous Peoples Day too? The Indigenous people lost, but that's a whole other story. Let's watch Lou Perez explain about he does add a little explainer, and it's only 2 minutes long. We're gonna watch it. It's funny because I shouldn't say it's funny. It's very, very serious. It's very serious and very important knowledge. So here's Lou Perez explaining Columbus Day.
The Washington Redskins, the Cleveland Indians, both professional sports teams made the decision to drop their offensive team names, and I think they made the right call. I agree wholeheartedly. It is offensive to name sports teams after Native Americans. Teams should only be named after winners. Now, you don't have to be a historian to know that when it comes to Native Americans, over the years, they got a lot of L's. Way more L's than W's. Just look at what we learned in school. Sure, the stuff with the Pilgrims was cute, but after that, all we hear about is the genocide, rape, and alcoholism of Native Americans. When I go to the stadium, I don't want to be reminded of that shit. It would make every point scored or run batted in just a little sad, you know? Come on,
This is
you
terrible.
want a team name that screams victory. I guess naming a team something like the Casinos would be better for Native Americans, but there's still a lot of losing when it comes to gambling. You know what they say, the house always wins, not the wigwam. I can't believe the team hasn't been named after the conquistadors yet. We forget just how many wins the Spanish had in the New World before the English took over the league. Sure.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't think anyone's demanding that the Spanish heroes in South America are being, they use genocide. Nope, only in America.
Naming a team after the conquistadors still brings up thoughts of genocide, but the conquistadors were on the winning side of that. Plus, no one will give a shit because the Spanish just sounds more inclusive. And sports are supposed to unite us, not divide us. You know, if there's one group of people who've been oppressed for centuries but still managed to come back and win, it's the Jews. Although I'm not sure
we're having a problem
Jews
now.
would go over so well. Hey, did you see the Dodgers destroy the Jews last night? That just doesn't feel right.
No, it does not. Okay, so that's Lou Perez. If you don't know who Lou Perez is, he's obviously has a very dry sense of humor. Does a lot of jokes about there's a lot of jokes about education and things like that, and he's a funny dude, comedian, and he also writes operas. So no, I don't think he does that. Anyway, so I thought that I found humor in that, and maybe some of you don't. But the fact is, it is Columbus Day, and it's funny because when I was scrolling on Columbus Day, I had to be before the show. I'm like, of course, as usual. There was the requisite naked human being with frontal lobes, additional frontal lobes, and I have to be careful about scrolling even on Columbus Day because someone's going to show you some boobs, butts, and penises. So anyway, this is interesting. So here's in 1492, the Italian explorer. This is a real story. By the name of Christopher Columbus, embarked on a voyage consisting of just 3 small vessels into the treacherous Atlantic waters, and that directly led to the discovery of the New World, at least the world that the Old World didn't know about. America's origin story is found in the heroic expedition of this great Italian. Today's commemoration stands as not just a tribute to the unparalleled cultural achievements of the Italian people, but to the great uniqueness of Western civilization, Christianity, and European man. Wow, that is, boy, there's some people going to be pissed about reading that one. But, obviously Columbus was trying to find his way to India and ended up in New India, which we turned into the Americas eventually. And it's fine that we celebrate Columbus. I mean, it's not like look, again, they won. You know what? Can we all get along now? But of course, when you talk about Columbus Day, of course, some places are insisting that you talk about Indigenous Peoples Day. And now there's a gentleman named Lakota Man who's very, not just leftist, but also he's still very upset about this. And I can understand why Native Americans would be upset about the history of whatever. I mean, look, as a black person, I know that some of the history of us losing didn't work out very well for us. But in the end, we got to figure out how to live our life from here forward. And so this guy is very upset, and he says that I assume that Columbus Day means I can just walk into a store and take whatever I want. Well, in some cities you can do that. It happens all the time. So anyway, he's very excited about Indigenous Peoples Day. Fuck Columbus, he says. Don't forget, it's October 9th, Indigenous people. This guy's just like, he is talking about it over and over and over. You know what? I don't know. It's a lot of people are just saying, fuck Christopher Columbus. Well, again, live, learn, adapt, and do what you do. So it's turned into a game though, because many cities will not celebrate Columbus Day and they call it Indigenous Peoples Day. Today and every day, let's support and celebrate the peoples whom were here first. Really, because I don't see a lot of these same people celebrating Israel right now. and Israel's at war. Remember, who has really the longest history in Israel? Well, that would be probably the people who have returned to Israel, and whether a lot of them are from Europe now or not. Are you really concerned about Indigenous Peoples Day in the area of Israel? So you can do this stuff, but it's like, come on. Again, we got to learn. This is just a way to, again, be angry and divide. And I get it. You lost and you got pushed back. But the idea that everyone was just peaceful and loving, and, which indigenous people you talking about? The ones who were there on the land that your ancestors were on, or the ones that your ancestors conquered to have whatever land you're on? Because not everyone fought for land for centuries, and in fact, we're still doing so now. So very interesting. All right, let me get one of the Gun Fox's stories up here right away, since he dropped 5 on me today. Dropped 5 stories, and I have them all in the links. Yes, I do. So this one, apparently, workers at wait, before that, I got these super chats. Let's do a couple of these real quick. First, what's that? Unwiped asshole nigga drops a deuce +1 in the tip jar, who says flying. Okay, this is a poem. Let's should we have some music to this? Let's add some music to it, because it always makes it more interesting when we have music. Let's try this one. It's Metal Monday. Flying over Gaza, shits on high, landed in Israel, my poops got a fry. Flew up 30,000 feet, let the mother load go. Shot down hypersonic skeet, whole land is my toilet. Into the brown sea, it shall flow. American turds first, it's unwiped, it's uncircumcised. Okay, I don't know what that means, but it was certainly interesting. Was that kind of loud? Okay, thank you, unwiped asshole nigga. I'm allowed to say that because I'm a black man. Hello, Swirly, what's up? That's clearly for HB's crowd. And then C. Thomas Kapow. Thank you for dropping a deuce in the tip jar. C. Thomas says it's still. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta have music. Music. Let's hear it. You get your own music. I'm gonna turn that down just a tad, though. It's a little, just a tad on the loud side. C. Thomas says, it still annoys me that the left still cry about Columbus. Meanwhile, when bringing up Cortez or Pizarro, there's only crickets. Yeah, exactly. They don't bring up the Spanish people and whatever that were on all the other parts of the world, and actually probably did more damage to the native. Actually, they just laid down with the natives. So there's a lot of mixture going on there. But anyway, it still annoys me that the left still cries about Columbus. Meanwhile, when bringing up Cortez and Pizarro, who killed a lot more people, there's only crickets, because obviously the man who traveled to the Americas is way worse than the guys who literally tore down entire peoples. Spot on. And then thank you, Horatio Nelson, with the deuce to the tip jar, says, they would have been much better off if they continued to be hunter-gatherers 500 years later, or populating 0.1% of the land with zero development and no culture beyond scalping each other and dancing around fire, smoking low-quality tobacco. Hey, how are ya? Well, I would say it was either local. Oh no, peyote's not tobacco, is it? Marijuana's not tobacco, is it? I don't know. That's okay. That's okay. Let's just shut that music off. Am I gonna get in trouble for even reading those? I don't know. But yeah, really, Columbus just came here and they found some stuff and took some stuff back and whatever. He made trips here, but some of these other people came out here and just literally just destroyed entire civilizations, and just because they had superior weaponry. And the idea that, that everyone was peaceful here before anyone from the, Europe got here. Come on, they were fighting for land forever. All right, let's get it back into the news. Apparently, Mack Truck is going on strike. Workers at Mack Trucks go on strike after rejecting a tentative contract deal. Union workers at Mack are on strike after voting down a tentative 5-year contract agreement that negotiations have reached with the company. Union workers at Mack Truck, blah, blah, blah. We just said that. United Auto Workers said 4,000 unionized workers walked out at 7 a.m., adding to labor turmoil in the industry that has ensnared all three big Detroit automakers. With those workers joining the picket lines, the total number of UAW members that are on strike now exceeds 30,000 across 22 states. Union President Sean Fain said in a letter to Mack parent company Volvo Trucks that 73% of workers voted against the deal. In results counted on Sunday, the UAW represents Mack workers in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Florida. Union leaders had reached a tentative agreement on the deal October 1st. So another UAW, another company is shutting down because of UAW strikes. You know what? I wonder how financially strong the United Auto Workers is. They probably are, because they haven't, unless, of course, this leadership squandered their money. But when was the last time they had a strike? I mean, it was when their last strike in the 90s or something like that. So they probably, they're probably fairly well off. I mean, but who knows? The unions are so corrupt. Let's see. The deal negotiators had reached with Mack just over a week ago included listen to this. Okay, here's the deal that they are rejecting now that they originally they had an agreement on, right? And the workers rejected. And it's possible. It's funny the way some union works. At least my union, at UPS, if you don't get enough people to vote in your contract, like not just, as in cast a ballot. Any non-cast ballot counts as negative. Oh, UAW strikes constantly? Okay, maybe I had that wrong. I thought they've averted most strikes for a while, but maybe not. Anyway, it's interesting. If you don't, at least if in our union, if you don't cast a ballot, it counts as a no vote. It doesn't count as a ballot with a no. You don't vote. If you don't send in your ballot, it counts as no. So apparently, at least we got more than 50% to come in with the ballot for UPS. But listen to what they turned down. The deal negotiators had reached with Mack just over a week ago, including a 19% pay raise over the life of the contract with 10% upon ratification. So an immediate 10% pay raise. There was also a $3,500 ratification bonus. No increase in weekly health care contributions, increased annual lump sum payments for retirees, and a $1,000 annual 401k lump sum to offset health care costs of employees who don't get health insurance after retirement. So, that's what they turned down. It'll be interesting to see how this works out for them. Will Mack just take it away? I don't know. We'll see how strong they are. Good morning, Ercole Di Stefano, Resolute Germ, Plague Trucker Zach. What's up? This is the same UAW that were exposed drinking on their lunch break and not getting fired. Yeah, it's amazing how hard it is to get fired at a union job. But anyway, thanks Gun Fox for that one. We got a couple more that you got up here, but let me get through some of the more current stuff. Also in the news, Happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian friends. I saw Happy Thanksgiving trending on Twitter. I'm like, what month am I in? But it's Canadian Thanksgiving. This is the one you can't scroll on. Okay, this is the one I have to be careful on. I know this one. I think I scrolled down and like the fourth one was some lady showing her assets. Yeah, there. Okay, I'm not showing you that. But apparently it's Thanksgiving in Canada. Justin Trudeau has a message for all you Canadians celebrating Thanksgiving. To everyone celebrating this long weekend, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you've been able to enjoy some extra time with your family and your friends. So there you go. The Prime Minister of Canada, wonderful young man who is one of the most brilliant and forward-looking leaders in the world, is wishing Canadian friends happy Thanksgiving. This woman says, this Thanksgiving, families and friends will gather to share a meal, celebrate the harvest season, and enjoy a simple occasion of time well spent together. It is time to reflect on our blessings, cherish those we hold dear, and be grateful. Happy Thanksgiving. That's Member of Parliament Leslyn Lewis. So there you go. Happy Thanksgiving, Canadians. Rock on. Here, let me give you one of these. All right, moving on. There's been another, well, okay, now this is interesting because I don't think, is there an actual Nobel Prize in economics? That's an interesting question. Now, the Nobel Committee says there is a Nobel Prize in economics, but it's not awarded by the Nobel Committee. The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences awards the award, even though they call it a Nobel Prize. So I'm not sure if that's how it is with a lot of the Nobel Prizes. Are they awarded by somebody else? But anyway, good morning, Sarah. How you doing? The Nobel Prize for Economics is being awarded this year to someone named Claudia Golden. Okay. Now, in this person, to no one's surprise, the Nobel Prize goes to Claudia Golden. Well, I'm not sure why it's to no one's surprise because I have no idea who's even up for the Nobel Prize for Economics. Here, what is this? Here are 3 things from her. Oh, and she's being awarded the prize for having advanced our understanding of women's labor market outcomes. Okay, so Claudia Golden apparently studies women's labor, and she has, one of her things is for gender gap, right? And she makes some amazing discoveries about economics of the gender gap. So the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences decided to award the 2023 Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel to Claudia. Yeah, there it is. See, it's not really a Nobel Prize, but the Nobel Committee recognizes it because it's the Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences. It's not a Nobel Prize in economics, but they'll call it but then here, the Nobel Committee, in honor of Alfred Nobel, the inventor of TNT, who blows shit up. So anyway, now I had a thing. Well, let's just give you the article at Gunfox. Gunfox provided us an article. So the Nobel Prize awarded to Claudia Golden for her work in women's pay. And okay, let's just read this because it's kind of humorous. Thank you, C. Thomas. Canada's not real. It's the world's biggest psyop to gaslight everyone into believing that there is such a thing as the existence of birds. Okay, thank you, C. Thomas, for dropping a deuce in the tip jar. You are a fantastic human being. That was a Streamlabs donation. Thank you for dropping a deuce in the tip jar. I will clean that up later. Professor Goldwyn's research uncovered key drivers behind the gender pay gap, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences said. She is only the 3rd woman to receive the prize and the first to not share the award with male colleagues. Well, I'm just thrilled about that. The 77-year-old academic currently teaches labor market history at Harvard University in the USA. Yes, he's at Harvard. So here's what it is. She had, quote, advanced our understanding of women's labor market outcomes. See, the outcomes because they want the outcomes to all to be the same. Good morning, Mason Cornish. Welcome. Australia doesn't exist either. No, it doesn't. And my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony, who lives in a fictitious country, is here. Also, good morning to my favorite Canadian. Okay, so here it is. Her said, pointing to her work examining 200 years of data on the U.S. workforce, showing how and why gender differences in earnings and employment rates changed over time. This year's laureate in economic sciences, Claudia Golden, provided the first comprehensive account of women's earnings and labor market participation through the centuries. So she tracked it for a couple hundred years. The prize-giving body said in a statement, her research reveals the cause of change as well as the main source of the remaining gender gap. Her research found that listen to this. Now, listen carefully, because this is going to be shocking. This is a shocking discovery, okay? Shocking discovery. Her research found that married women started to work less after the arrival of industrialization in the 1800s. Now, that's an interesting statement, because when she means working less, not necessarily having jobs, but actually worked less as far as all types of labor that women had, okay? But their employment picked up again in the 1900s as the service economy grew. Now, the definition she uses of work is interesting, but we'll keep going. Now, and then she says, higher educational levels for women and the contraceptive pill accelerated the change, but the gender pay gap remained. Well, wow. Let's see. So women not having children means they worked more, and that would means that okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, but that means that they were able to work more and earn more, right? But the gap hasn't, there's still a gap, right? Then it says, while historically that earnings difference between men and women could be blamed on educational choices made up at a young age and career choices, really? That's okay. Professor Golden found that the current earnings gap was now largely due to the impact of having children. Oh, you mean couples decided that maybe one of the parents should spend more time with the children, and they chose the higher earner or the male earner for why would they do that? So she's saying that and because some women choose not to work or work less, they might earn less. Is that shocking? That is shocking to me. I can't imagine that women who work less, women worked at home, then refrigerators and modern stoves were invented. But that's her discovery. That's the one that got people. That because women were having children, they began to earn less. Well, yeah, duh. And because someone would go to part-time, or some would not work at all, or some would choose not to work. Sometimes families made choices about who and how much work they would do. And they thought their kids were important, so they made sure someone stayed at home. I'm just shocked. Good morning, number one. How you doing? I remember hearing about the Welsh mine controversy after women were working down the mine topples. Yeah, because everyone wanted to protect the women, right? So anyway, Claudia Golden's discoveries. Oh, this is a discovery. I don't need her discoveries to have made this comment 10 years ago when people started talking about the wage gap. I'm like, well, of course there's a wage gap because some people make different choices. Claudia Goldman's discoveries have vast societal implications, said Randy Hagman, a member of the committee awarding the prize. That's exactly how you pronounce that name, too. It's Hagman. She has shown that the nature of this problem. Why is it a problem? There's the point that I don't understand. Why is it a problem? Women who choose to work and not have children make more money, and that's fine. That's fine. But she's saying she has shown us the nature of this problem, or the source of this underlying gender gap changes throughout history and with the course of development. Describing her as a detective, Professor Hamilton said her work had provided foundation for policymakers in this area around the world. What policy would you make for women who make people who make choices about what they do with their kids? What policy can you make? Can you force people to work more? Can you force labor? Maybe. Oh my gosh. Here it is. Globally, about 50% of women participate in the labor market compared to 80% of men. But women earn less and are less likely to reach to the top of the career ladder, the prize committee added. And why is that a problem if it's because of choices people make? That's the thing. Why is that a problem? Is it a problem for all women? It's not. That's the thing. Of course. Because participating in the labor market doesn't mean you're participating at the 52-hour week average that some people work versus the 41-hour week that other people average. If let's say we work all the same company, the same job, the same pay, but one person decides to work 60 hours a week and one person decides to work 30 hours a week. Well, that's a pay gap. The person who works 60 hours a week is certainly more likely to reach the top of the career ladder, even of getting promotions too. This is so stupid. She thinks women should be paid to stay home and raise their children. Obviously, I don't know if that's what she means. But so, even so, that's a dumb globally. 50% of women participate in the labor markets compared to 80% of men, but women earn less and are less likely to reach the top of the career ladder because they make choices. To reach the top of the career ladder, guess what? Most of the men don't reach the top of the career ladder either. You're in this little, was it gap theory? Which is the one where the people, they always compare themselves to the highest paid person in a company or in a career, not realizing there's only a tiny fraction of people who do that. A tiny fraction. And the most likely people to do it are the ones who are willing to work 80 hours a week and move their stuff and do this and that and whatever. Well, guess what? People with families, particularly women, who may want to be with their kids, maybe only want to work 32 hours a week. Or maybe they want to work 10 hours a week, part-time. Of course, they're going to learn at less. Now, if you're willing, look, if you're in a family and the husband decides to stay home and the woman decides to go the career route and does her best and ends up being Liz Cheney or some shit like that, more power to her. But people don't make those decisions. Guess what? Men don't have breasts. They can't breastfeed babies. And some people say, oh, you know what? I need to breastfeed. I'm going to work my schedule around that. And I'm not going to work as many hours. This is, you're trying to make something a problem because, oh my God, men make the most money. Those men up there who 99% of men never achieve also make a ton of money. Oh, well, I'm not going to get through anything today. Holy shit. Thank you, Gunfox, for, thank you for that, Gunfox. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, moving on. So tons of things are trending based on what's happening in the Middle East right now. And I'll just go through some of these and then we'll get into some articles. So one of them obviously is Middle East breaking. Oh, this is 2 hours ago. Breaking. Prime Minister Netanyahu engages with heads of authorities in the South. We're going to change the Middle East. I don't know what this means. We're going to change. We're in the middle of a campaign. I know you've been through terrible and difficult things. What Hamas will go through will be difficult and terrible. We are already in the campaign, and we've only just started. Your leadership is very strong in these difficult days. It will take time. A strong stand is needed in the. Okay, it says some difficult days over and over. Look, here's the pattern. Here's the pattern in the Israel conflict with Hamas, Gaza, Hezbollah, whatever. They have this peace kind of deal. They have this separation of what they do, whatever. There's Arab Israelis who live in Israel and whatnot, but the people in the Gaza and the West Bank, don't like the situation, even though Israel tries to make it livable for everybody. Then Hamas will attack Israel, and Israel will retaliate, and then everyone blames Israel. Almost every time. Now, the bloody attacks over these last several days in Israel have no justification. There's one of the things trending is 700 Israelis. It's up to more than 800 now have died. There are, remember their names: Tamir, Yotantan, and their children, Shakar, Arbel, Omer, were brutally murdered by Hamas terrorists in Kibbutz near Oz. An entire family vanished from the face of the earth. More than 700 Israelis were massacred by Hamas terrorists. And the thing is, I don't need this right now. Why is my phone ringing? From Rush City, Minnesota. I'll call him back. There are just, and Israel's retaliating. Okay, so 700 dead in Israel. It's much higher now. Israel is trending. Lebanon is Hezbollah and Emma is starting to get into it. This is turning into a war, like an all-out war in the region, and everyone's taking their sides. Those countries that were part of the Abraham Accords, well, a lot of them are taking sides with the Palestinians. Qatar, for example. Now, Joan Rivers, a while back, how should Israel respond to Hamas back in 2014? I'm not going to play it. It'll be in the links. But anyway, so Iran's getting into the deal because some people are saying that this $6 million that the United States released, and is based in Qatar, is because it's helped Iran help kind of lead this effort to start attacking Israel. So, I mean, again, here, breaking news, over 800 confirmed dead in the attacks on Israel by Hamas. Now, Hezbollah has joined the fight. They've already fired multiple rockets at Israel from Lebanon. All of this is being funded and masterminded by Iran. The U.S. provides over $1 billion in aid to these countries attacking Israel. Why are we always financially involved in these conflicts? Because we think it's our job to fund the world, and maybe we should stop funding the rest of the world. Look, I personally stand with Israel on this. I've watched this for so long. Hello, Dexter. I wish I could care about the Middle East. I wish I could too. The problem is this one is turning into something more. And I'll get to it because there's a bunch of different things. Gaza's trending, obviously. Iron Dome is trending because a lot of the rocket attacks now are being repelled by Israel's, their system that shoots rockets out of the skies, which is amazing. But there's people blaming Donald Trump for this, saying that what is it? Here it is right here. Hamas apparently knew how to get around Israel's Iron Dome defenses. They probably learned this from Iran. Iran almost certainly got the information from Russia. And who gave it to Russia? Sure looks like it was Donald Trump at the request of Putin. Please, get the fuck out of here. But here's another problem. Why would Donald Trump, who is probably the most pro-Israel president in my lifetime, do anything to harm Israel? This is just stupid. But so Iron Dome is trending. Now, let's see. I got to find the one about Putin. Afghanistan is trending because, we're figuring out, too, that some of the weapons that they're receiving to attack Israel with may be coming from Afghanistan, may be coming from Ukraine, which is crazy. And then Qatar's trending. And, someone said Billy Milano has the best take on the Middle East. Apparently there's a song called Fuck the Middle East, is the most pro-Israel song ever written by a skinhead. Singer Billy Milano of the New Jersey hardcore band Psychos joins Scott Ian and Charlie Benanti of Anthrax and Darren Lilker of Nuclear Assault for some rude, offensive tunes. Quintessential crossover trash. Apparently he has a song called Fuck the Middle East. So here's where we're getting into the problems now, though, okay? apparently Vladimir Putin. I don't have that one. Why is this not here? Hang on a second. While I'm waiting, thank you, Horatio Nelson, dropping a deuce in the tip jar, says, dead Jews are sad and all, but there's also hundreds of dead Palestinians, civilians too, plenty of photos of torn apart Palestinian babies and toddlers, IDF blowing apart hospitals, mosques, and residential buildings. U.S. needs to stay out of it, not our problem. Look, here's my thought on that. Yes, civilians are the ones getting caught in the middle of this. One of the reasons that hospitals and schools and mosques are targeted in Gaza and wherever wherever the Hamas fights is because they put their weapons near those places. The Hamas came in and had like paratroopers, whatever, who flew into a concert, a music festival, and killed over 250 people and were raping women and taking hostages and all this shit. But the civilians in this whole thing are the ones who lose. And look, as far as the Israelis, I don't know if they need our aid. Israeli has one of the most advanced, most capable militaries in the world, despite what, you think about us and Russia and all the others. The Israelis have been fucking shit up for years, and people mess with them and they fuck shit up, and people stop messing with them for a while. What's unfortunate about this one is right now, they mentioned Putin and blamed Trump with Putin and shit. Well, I don't know if this has been confirmed, but let's take this statement from Putin. Putin, oops, hang on a second. Let me type it in here real quick. Why is that? No, I want Putin. Apparently, Putin is taking Palestine's side on this. Now, why would he do that? Well, because, what the hell? Come on, computer, work. Putin. This is not confirmed. I keep seeing this though. Putin, I am warning that America should not interfere with the Israeli-Palestine war. If America does, that we will openly help Palestine. Interesting. Why would he say that? Now, if he said this is not confirmed, this is supposed to be a translation of this.
Угроза ядерной войны. Светлана Геннадьевна, вы правы. Такая угроза нарастает.
I don't understand why America wants to destroy Israel. I don't know what that means. As we destroy Ukraine and past.
Что греха таить. По поводу того, что Россия ни при каких обстоятельствах не применит первый, но если не применит первый, ни при каких обстоятельствах, значит и второй тоже не применит, потому что возможности применения в случае нанесения ядерной.
So I don't know if that's an accurate translation. If anyone speaks Russian, whatever. But, why would Russia want to help Palestine? Well, we're interfering in their war with Ukraine, right? And granted, Israel seems to be obviously is a friend of the United States. So why wouldn't Russia do the same thing with Palestine that we are doing with Ukraine? If Israelis didn't want this to happen, they shouldn't be living next to savages. I don't know. Look, I think we should stay out of it. Israelis could certainly handle their own business. If it turns into a bigger war across the Middle East, then maybe you consider it. But anyway, let's go into some of the news articles and we'll get this done. And I'm not going to get through all these today. I'll probably just do a lot of headlines now. But anyway, in Time Magazine, the U.S. death toll in this particular conflict, though, 9 Americans have been killed in Hamas attacks on Israel. The State Department said Monday that at least 9 American citizens have been killed in the weekend Hamas attacks on Israel, raising the toll from 4. It says that an undetermined number of American citizens remain missing and unaccounted for on Sunday, and officials said that the number was fluid and had been ranging from between 6 and 12. Well, it's dead people. How is it fluid? maybe just that they can find. It's not clear whether the missing had been taken hostage, were killed, or in hiding. The State Department is in touch with the families and providing all appropriate consular assistance, the spokesman said. So that's other news. This is also from Gunfox. Now, the United States is sending warships and fighter jets to support Israel. The United States sent warships and fighter jets to support Israel on Sunday night in a show of strength against Hamas. Again, this is, I don't know why. The Israeli military is very capable, but Joe Biden deployed the U.S. Navy's most advanced aircraft carriers, 6 other ships, and a number of advanced jets to the Eastern Mediterranean as Israel allies, including the UK, rallied to its defense. The move raises tensions in the region, with Iranian intelligence officials accused of planning Hamas's surprise terror attack on Israel that saw 700 killed and more than 100 taken hostage. At least 260 are feared to have been massacred in a rave in the desert in the south of the country, attended by Israelis and foreigners. In a televised address to the White House, Mr. Biden said, "In my administration, support for Israel's security is rock solid and unwavering," except for some circles of Congress. Rishi Sunak condemned the attacks as an act of terror, and he offered British intelligence to help Israeli identify Hamas targets. The Prime Minister of Great Britain told Benjamin Netanyahu that the UK was ready to provide diplomatic or security support, which I don't know what that means, as he held a call with Germany, France, and the U.S. Sunday to coordinate their response. So, thank you, Gunfox61, dropping another 5 in the tip jar. Thank you very much. Marty, here's what the U.S. needs to do. Have B-52s and do Operation Rolling Thunder and show Palestinians what happened when you attack Americans and use up what's left over of some stuff from World War I as a show of don't fuck with American civilians. I don't know, man. I don't know. This shit is just getting crazy, and Iran, and now also there's people in who was it? Was it people in Iran were telling China to attack Taiwan now? This is getting to that point where it's a little out there for me. Okay, this is not looking good. Now, here's an article at PJ Media. Why is there never peace between Israel and Palestinians? Well, it's kind of rinse and repeat. Do something, rinse and repeat. In an analysis of the war that has begun between Hamas and Israel, CNN noted Saturday, that the Biden regime was just in the process of pressuring Israel to make a series of concessions to the Palestinians in order to further the cause of normalization of ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia. In this, both the sinister establishment media propagandists of CNN and the sinister kleptocrats of the Biden regime betrayed their fundamental failure or refusal to understand why there is this apparently endless conflict between Israel and Palestinians in the first place. CNN reported that as recently as this week, Biden had hoped to be nearing the completion of a major agreement with Israel and Saudi Arabia to establish formal diplomatic ties, potentially transforming the entire Middle East. The expectation had been that the deal would include agreement from Netanyahu on certain concessions to the Palestinians, including potentially freezing settlements and agreeing to eventual Palestinian state. The universal assumption is that freezing settlements and agreeing to a Palestinian state, which the Palestinians have previously rejected on numerous occasions, over and over, will bring peace. Yet this is because they want all of it. They don't want any compromise. Hello, Selected Boy. What's up?
Yeah, boy.
But this is the idea that this might bring peace. It's not true. And the Palestinians themselves have made it clear that on numerous occasions over the years, back on October 5th, 2018, on, quote, Not a Neighbor, end quote, a program on official Palestinian Authority television, Sharia Judge Muhammad Abu Rumi denounced the idea that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict was about territory and could thus be subject to negotiations. He said people would be deluded or think that we have no way out with the Jews. The liberation of this land is a matter of faith, which will happen despite everyone. The Jews leaving this land in a divine decree. The war is not only over this strip of land. As you know, the Jews want everything and not just part. They want to subjugate us and that we be the slaves to their command. And I get where they might, if their leadership constantly says this. It just seems to me, though, that Israel's is giving concessions, except, look, the settlements could be a problem, right? But has the state of Israel given Palestinians their own place? Because there's plenty of Arab Jews, or it's not Arab Jews, there are plenty of Arab Israelis in Israel. They have leadership positions and all this other stuff. But how many of the Palestinian-controlled areas allow Jews? I'm sorry. So just a week after that, during a Friday sermon at the Islamic Center of South Florida, Imam Hassan Sabri offered a succinct encapsulation of the principle of, quote, drive them out from where they drove you out, end quote. Quran, and it's in the Quran. If a land is occupied or plundered, it should be liberated from its occupiers and plunderers, even if this leads to the martyrdom of tens of millions of Muslims. So, martyrdom is a principle. So basically, they want to drive them out into the sea or wherever out of the land. And, look, if you look at it from a historical standpoint, well, who actually has the longest history on that land? It's hard to say because everyone has their own version of history, right? So, but I'm pretty sure that the Bible says something about it, but then the people of the Quran say, well, with the Quran was much older than this, and our ideas are much older than this, even if they weren't in a Quran, whatever. It's a mess. And I don't understand it, but look, the rinse and repeat part is they get an agreement. There's they live together for a while, and then Hamas decides, nope, we're going to start killing some people. And then the Israelis defend themselves. And then the Israelis get blamed for all of it by the American left and everyone else. It drives me insane. All right, moving on. In Breitbart, apparently the Israeli Defense Forces have rescued 48 hostages from a kibbutz dining hall. The Palestinian terror attack against Israel happened on the Jewish holiday of Shemini Atzeret on the final day of annual High Holy Day cycle. The violent attack left at least 250 people dead, 1,500 women wounded. Dozens of people were held hostage earlier on Saturday in the kibbutz dining hall for Horus. However, Israeli Defense Forces engaged in a gun battle with the Palestinian terrorists who infiltrated the kibbutz region. So that's some of the hostages have been recovered, according to that report. And look, if you want to read about this attack that they did on this music festival, it's also an article here. It left hundreds dead. They're describing it as like a horror movie massacre. Survivors of the attack at the music festival in southern Israel by Hamas terrorists claim that it was like a horror movie, as hundreds of dead bodies have been recovered and others are believed to have been taken hostage by Islamist Palestinians. The Supernova Music Festival was attended by approximately 3,000 people in the Negev desert near Kibbutz Re'em. Quickly turned from a joyous occasion marking the Jewish holiday of Sukkot into a massacre as Hamas terrorists raided the event from the nearby Gaza Strip. The attack came as Palestinians waged a series of surprise attacks on Israel at the Shemini Atzeret, the final day of the High Holy Day cycle. It's. I'm going to speed through these because I need to complete the show. So we're going to keep going. In the Daily Wire. Meanwhile, Joe Biden was attending a barbecue. Joe Biden attends a barbecue after Americans murdered in Israel. Blinken urges a ceasefire. Well, that's great. Let's urge a ceasefire. There you go. President Joe Biden ignored questions from reporters over the weekend after an Islamic terrorist attack resulted in the death of Americans in Israel and led to several U.S. citizens being kidnapped. On Sunday, Biden attended a barbecue party at the White House where a live band played. Now, look, my question is, when they write articles like this, obviously it causes outrage, and maybe it should. Hello, this ain't real dude. I'm not sure what they wanted. I mean, obviously, the fact that he didn't make a statement, the fact that he ignores questions tells me he doesn't know what's going on. You know, I mean, I get it. He attending a barbecue, I don't think it's a big deal. Did they attack us? Are we on high alert here? Not yet, although we don't know who's coming through our southern border. But the White House told the press that the president and first lady are hosting a barbecue for White House executive resident staff and their families. Should they cancel that because of this? I don't think so. I don't have a problem with that. But the fact that he won't answer questions to reporters, now is a problem. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken urged a ceasefire between Israel and the terrorists who committed the attacks, which led to the deaths of hundreds of Israelis and wounded thousands more. Now, the language, obviously, in this Daily Wire, I mean, I would call them terrorists, but from a news organization, well, between Hamas or between whatever, I don't know. I'd rather be at Biden be at a barbecue than doing stuff, though. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But, you know, what would he do? I mean, what would he do? Should he go over there with a gun and maybe tell people, hey, stop this shit? MPJ Media. Now, American weapons from Afghanistan and Ukraine being used against Israel? Now, that's a good question. Are Hamas jihadis using American weaponry in their bloody jihad against Israel? The possibility cannot be discounted. On Saturday, as the Hamas offensive began, videos began circulating of Palestinian Arabs celebrating the massacre of Israeli Jews. In one of them, a jihadi carries a girl who looks to be about 7 or 8 years old on his shoulders. Disconcertingly, she is carrying a pistol and a rifle. Glenn Beck noting a striking detail about her rifle and tweeted on Sunday, quote, "When did Hamas begin to carry American ARs? Didn't they have AKs from Russia? Where did these weapons come from? Afghanistan? Didn't we leave a ton behind, or were they shipped to Ukraine? Maybe I'm mistaken." Now, does that look, I don't know what that is. Yeah, here, it looks like an American AR in this picture, doesn't it? Maybe he is, but he's far from the only person to suggest that arms the Biden regime sent to Ukraine have ended up in the hands of the Palestinian jihadis. In fact, Hamas itself posted a video on its Telegram channel. That's great. Hamas has a Telegram channel. I got to look that up. Thanking Ukraine for sending it arms. Twitter readers added a community note that one tweet of this video saying there's no evidence to suggest Ukraine has been selling weapons to Hamas. Hamas gets most of their weaponry from Iran and Syria. But the possibilities, oh my goodness, the possibilities are just intriguing. In the Daily Caller, significant military activities authorized after Israeli Security Cabinet confirms war status. So basically, their security cabinet, I guess, has declared this as a war. So they declared war Saturday night in response to surprise Hamas rocket attacks in southern Israel that killed hundreds and wounded thousands. Although Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had already stated Israel was at war after Hamas militants entered southern Israel, the Security Cabinet's declaration makes that declaration official and authorizes, quote, significant military activities. Well, some of those significant activities is their fighter jets and bombers are bombing Palestinian positions. In fact, here, a video shows massive explosion as Israeli fighter jets hammer Gaza targets in retaliatory strikes. There's video of these if you want to see them. I'm not going to show them on YouTube. Also in the Daily Caller, Pentagon sends largest aircraft carrier to the Middle East. We already talked about that in the article Gunfox showed me, and it will soon reach Israel. That article's there. Also, apparently a Democratic U.S. senator and congressman say they were stuck in Israel during the deadly attack. That's interesting. When they say they were stuck in Israel, were they, well, let's read the beginning of this article. Democratic New Jersey Senator Cory Booker and New York Representative Dan Goldman have safely escaped Israel during the attack by Hamas over the weekend. Booker arrived Friday in Jerusalem ahead of a summit on the Abraham Accords, which were scheduled and where he was scheduled to speak Tuesday. CBS News reported the senator was reportedly present when the Islamic group Hamas carried out its deadliest attack on Israel in decades by launching 5,000 rockets and gunman attacks at around 6:30 a.m. Saturday from the Gaza Strip. Booker said he was notified by his chief of staff to return to his hotel during the attack and sheltered in place in the stairwells of his hotel with many Israelis and Americans. Per CBS News, he describes the sense of fear and worry by the people he sheltered in place with as the attack left hundreds dead, the outlet reported. And then apparently Dan Goldman, where was he? Goldman spokesman said the congressman was in Israel with his wife and 3 children to celebrate a bar mitzvah. According to Politico, he reportedly sheltered in place in his hotel also. So, I'm not going to be snarky here. I'm glad that they're okay. Period. End of story. That's my only take on that. So that's interesting. Now, the Biden administration, a lot of people are saying, oh, this $6 billion hostage deal with Iran may have helped fund this. Well, the Biden administration is deflecting that. They are adamant its $6 billion deal had no connection to the Hamas attacks, but there are some critics who are not so sure. The Biden administration spoke with one voice this weekend in addition to expressing support for Israel in its war against Hamas. The administration's spokesman wanted to make one thing clear. One thing clear. Could that have been Latrine? Who said this? No, that was Matthew Miller. Not a single dollar of the $6 billion it sent to Tehran last month helped fund the Hamas terrorists who murdered, kidnapped, and raped Israelis over the weekend. They wanted to make sure you know that. So wait a minute. So not one penny of that money did, but they spent some money on it, right? So is it replenishing the money they're spending to help Hamas? How do you know that not one penny of it goes to it? He says, let's be clear. The deal to bring U.S. citizens home from Iran has nothing to do with the horrific attack on Israel, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said on Saturday, as numerous analysts and GOP lawmakers blame the Biden administration for helping to fund Hamas's historic war. Not a penny has been spent, and when it is, it can only go for humanitarian needs like food and medicine. According to anything contrary is false. Oh, yes, the $6 billion we gave to Iran or let them have their money, it went to food for the poor and it went to medicine for the elderly. There's no way it was ever used for anything nefarious. Other senior Biden officials, both on and off the record, have made the case that the deal struck to bring 5 Americans home from Iran in no way aided Hamas's Saturday assault. Do the math. And it goes into why others think that, well, clearly, if you give them $6 billion, it's like, okay, here's what it's like, okay? When Congress passes an omnibus spending bill, and they spend, you got X billions of dollars for this, X billion of dollars of that, and then you have X billions of dollars millions, because you know how they are. They have X millions of dollars to go to hunger programs, right? And so when you send your check to the IRS in April, not a penny of your check goes to anything for funding Ukraine or anything else. Everything you send to the IRS goes towards the hunger and programs and the medicine for the sick. There's none of that money is spent anywhere else, but it's completely traced and tracked to that one thing, right? So it doesn't help anything else. That's what they're telling you with this Iran $6 billion. Stupid, stupid, stupid. In PJ Media, Iran is orchestrating Hamas's attack. Will Hezbollah strike Israel next? Guess what? This is from yesterday. Well, as of today, Hezbollah has struck Israel, shooting rockets from Lebanon. So Hezbollah is already involved. So how about that? And it's wild because there are terrorist sympathizers celebrating Hamas's assault on Israeli citizens. Terrorist organizations or sympathizers around the world celebrated Hamas's unprovoked attack, which saw the Gaza-based terror group kidnap women and children and kill hundreds of innocent civilians. Pro-Hamas demonstrations occurred in the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, and elsewhere on Saturday and Sunday. In New York City, for example, demonstrators chanted that the terrorist assault was justified. They also chanted, "From the river to the sea, which Palestine will be free," a phrase that calls for the eradication of the Jewish state. Man, fucking tastic. And look, these fuckers in New York and other places that are demonstrating against, or on behalf of the Palestinians. As much as I can't stand it, I guess they're free to do so. I think they're all fuckheads, but still, this again, this attack out of the blue, they're killing lots of people, and all it's going to do is, again, Israel's going to retaliate very hard like they always do, and then it'll be Israel's fault. Dan Friedman, who's Dan Friedman? Former Trump administration U.S. ambassador to Israel, David Friedman said on a preview of Fox News Channel's Life, Liberty, and Levine that Hamas terror attacks on the Jewish people were some of the most barbaric acts since the Holocaust. Friedman said, "We saw today some of the most brutal acts against Jewish people that have been seen since the Holocaust. This was very, very difficult to watch, painful to watch. I'm here in Jerusalem. I was in and out of shelters all day long. Jewish people murdered, civilians murdered, pulled out of their homes, all through an expensive, highly sophisticated attack with lethal and advanced equipment. How did Hamas get all that stuff? They don't earn any money. It's a terrorist organization." He continued, "They get money from Iran, which we are now appeasing and facilitating and taking off, lifting sanctions and emboldening them and making them even richer. So we are giving Iran money to help Hamas. The Palestinian Authority gives a lot of money to Hamas. We didn't give them any money in the Trump administration. They are getting it now because the Biden administration has reversed that." I think that's self-explanatory. Next, illegal insurrection. 2014, Hamas hides in, under, and around Gaza's main hospital, and the media covers it up. So there's a history of the media complaining that the Israelis will bomb a hospital, the Israelis will bomb a mosque, the Israeli will bomb a school, and then they'll have pictures of that school with, rocket launchers on top of the school or right next to the mosque or right, surrounding the hospital. And then they'll have human shields. They'll have kids around places where they're doing the rockets. And then the Israelis destroy those sites, killing and wounding children. And so then all you see is pictures of wounded children in Gaza or wherever they're being used as shields. And so look, this is not a good war for civilians because there's a side that doesn't give a fuck about the civilians. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily Israel. Now, of course, on MSNBC, MSC's Mehdi Hassan amplifying anti-Israel content right now. Far-left MSNBC presenter Mehdi Hassan is amplifying anti-Israel sentiment and content on social media by sharing multiple videos and posts on X, formerly Twitter, that seek to downplay Hamas's aggression in the region. Hamas reposted a number of posts that sought to shift the blame from Hamas to Israel, including one that read, quote, "Unprecedented failure of Israeli intelligence, the most important component in the country's national security, utter desperation of Gaza Palestinians, with many seeing no option for their future but to launch a suicidal war." You know what's amazing about that statement? Because I've seen that all over too. Well, the Israelis surely knew about this, and they are intelligence, and they knew it was going to happen, and they didn't do anything to stop it. Wait, what? So let's analyze that. So let's say the Israelis have intelligence that they think there may be an imminent attack. Okay. And they go, well, if Israel attacks, it's the Israelis' fault for attacking first. And if it's not, whether it's confirmed or not, let's say it's not, they're not sure, but they think there's going to be an attack from a certain place. So Israel attacks that certain place. Israel gets blamed because they are the ones who attacked the poor Palestinians who are just wanting to live in peace and drive the Jews into the sea. So it's Israel's fault. But if Hamas attacks Israel with 500 rockets and they go in and start killing people and taking people hostage in a situation at a music festival in Israel, and they kill 800 people, well, whose fault is that? Well, when Israel retaliates, well, whose fault is that? Well, because it's Israel's fault, because they have better weaponry and they have better this and they have better that, and so their ability to destroy, it's not fair. They don't have equal militaries, so that's Israel's fault. It's always Israel's fault. It's never anyone else's fault. All right, real quick. I gotta be done here. Thank you, C. Thomas, dropping a couple deuces in the tip jar. First of all, he says, at this point, as much as I think Israel, the chosen people, are bad neighbors, the Palestinians just doesn't deserve or should be allowed to exist. Now, they can exist if they just try to get along. Time to put an end to those savages and lay the matter to glass. Well, no, you can't do that. You cannot make the glass because they're right next to each other. They're just little tiny places, okay? You can't do that. Okay, C. Thomas? Oh, boy. And also another dude says the socialist wants Palestinians to be free. I just want Palestinians to be free. We are not the same. The socialist wants Palestinians to be free. I just want Palestinians to be free. We are not the same. Well, not the same way. See, they want the backers of Palestine are more than happy to destroy the Jewish state to make that happen. It's not the other way around. And I think I got your point there, C. Thomas. Thanks for dropping a couple deuces in the tip jar. So anyway, Mehdi Hassan's completely on the side of the Palestinians. And no matter who does what, there's always a way to make it Israel's fault. Okay, so this big attack on Israel is Israel's fault because they're not trying hard enough. And there's a couple other articles here showing how journalists are covering this. I don't have time, but what I am going to do is I'm going to finish through the headlines. You can see what else is in the links today. Speaking of one of those reporters, there is a Washington Post reporter, columnist, who celebrates anti-Jew terrorism as exactly what is, as she's saying, this is what decolonization means. They go in and go out there and kill people. That's how you decolonize. Okay, that's not a good. I don't know if that's a good message. And then some of the squad weighed in after the terrorist murder, hundreds in Israel, which is interesting. Ayanna Pressley, she was the one interesting one. Or no, Cori Bush. I'm sorry, Cori Bush from St. Louis. Is that where she's from? Most of them gave, say they're grieving lives on both sides. For example, Rashida Tlaib, who is Palestinian, said she's grieving the lives of loss on both sides, but did not explicitly condemn the Hamas attack in her statement, which was reportedly obtained by Detroit News, but has not yet appeared on her social media accounts or website. She called for an end to U.S. financial support for Israeli apartheid government, stating that lifting the blockade, ending the occupation, and dismantling the apartheid system that creates the suffocating, dehumanizing conditions that lead people to resistance. So, in a sense, she is justifying it. Cori Bush acknowledged the loss of life on both sides and condemned the attacks before calling for an immediate ceasefire and stating that we must do our part to end this violence and trauma by ending U.S. government support for Israeli military occupation and apartheid. So she's described it as a military occupation. And there's a couple other in here. I don't have time to go through them. Breitbart, just another report, Democratic Socialists of America are going to rally and cheer Hamas in this attack. So we have some Americans who are not following the diplomatic line of the United States, where we support Israel. And, I understand it. Some people don't. And you can have whatever opinion you want. I have mine. I don't I don't knock other people's opinions, but I've been watching this since I was a child. And it's rinse and repeat over and over again. All right. And then the remaining articles, Joe Biden blames the media for why Americans don't feel good about the economy. We showed you the clip last week, but there's a little longer article on it here where he was trying to say, well, you guys don't report on the good stuff. They do, but there's a lot more bad stuff to report on. In the Daily Wire, electric vehicles are costing auto manufacturers billions while union strikes take their tolls. Yeah, the American auto manufacturers are kind of in a terrible place right now because, they got the union striking against them, but also the cost of the electric vehicle production so heavily subsidized, but it's still causing problems for the manufacturers. So you can read about that. Illegals issue demands, claims their rights have been violated. This is the special one. There's absolutely nothing new about people thinking they deserve more than they do. Granted, there are times when the circumstances surrounding those demands are more infuriating, such as in this case. For the sake of this, anyway, the illegal aliens are claiming that their rights are being violated. As far as I'm concerned, if you're here legally, you have no rights. But, maybe you have a right to be human, which you are. But go back and be human where you're from and not here. Mayorkas is backpedaling after he claimed an acute, immediate need for the border wall. Yeah, some of the Democrats got pissed because Mayorkas was saying, we need that wall. It's in that article there. Democrat failed. New York felony assaults on women spike 41% over the last 4 years. That's not good. I want to get to Gun Fox's articles, though. 12 cities have sued the city of Los Angeles over their zero bail policy. Cities around the Los Angeles metro area are a little bit angry. Let's see. California LGBT and it's now this is some, what is it? Cognitive dissonance. So some LGBTQ groups are protesting. Wait, what? Oh, no. Well, this is a different one. Oh, my gosh. Okay, guys, I got to get out of here. But so here's what we're going to do. There's a couple more articles. One is there's a sports authority that has said there's a biological sports medicine authority acknowledges the biological basis of sex differences in athletic performances. Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable. Really? They figured that out? Let's get the last Gun Fox article, though. Gun Fox's article. Trump's New York trial exposes the sad reality of white-collar crime enforcement. This is MSNBC. First, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, dropping a deuce in the tip jar. Appreciate it. Who says, I have a final solution for you, Israel. Oh, dude. Bad choice of words. Pakistan conflict, make it a one-state solution. Eek.
That's right.
Step one, level the Gaza Strip. Oh,
that's
no. Right. West Bank and make it Israel.
That's right. Residents
of Gaza sent to Egypt and the West Bank. Residents sent to Jordan. Problem solved.
That's right.
So many of those people were exiled in Egypt and Jordan, and they kicked them out of Egypt and Jordan. So they're back in Gaza and West Bank. I didn't say that out loud. Okay, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. And finally, Tyre Alexander, last donation of the day. To quote the Untouchables, they send you one of yours to the hospital, and you send one of theirs to the morgue. Don't bring rockets to a Jewish space laser fight. Okay, that might be the quote of the day. Guys, I gotta go. I'll make sure I hit this article when I get back tomorrow morning. Thank you to all the sponsors today. There's a whole bunch. Gun Fox, the superstar of the day, plus unswiped asshole nigga. C. Thomas, Horatio Nelson, Tyre Alexander. Did I miss any? Black Hebrew Israelite. All of you are great. Thank you so much. But I gotta go. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. What the fuck? There we go. Please hit the like button, share the stream, do all that stuff. I got to go. I'm going to be late to my other place. I forgot. I had to go back to work today. I can't just do this forever. So thanks, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. My name's P-Dog Knight. and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Night, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Night, and I'm out of here.